Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. It's time for another This Week in Fragrance where we're gonna talk about some upcoming new fragrances that you have to look forward to. So what's on the docket today? Well, there's a new Paco Rabanne 1 million. There's a new Mancera flanker, which is probably gonna be kind of a big deal. And of course, niche fragrance flankers, that's the new thing. And a new Parfums de Marly release, which looks like it could be a banger for fall and winter time. And who knows, maybe it'll get as much hype as Layton. Probably not, but maybe. In the description below, I have linked where you can read some more information, do some follow-up on these fragrances in case you want to find out more. And as always, if you would like some codes to save yourself some money, then here are some codes to save yourself some money. Between 10 and 20% off. Gents 20 is the new code for Max Aroma, 20% off with that one. And then for Lucky Scent, the code 2023 Gents, 10% off good through the end of September. Where do we want to start here? Where do we want to start? How about the new Parfums de Marly? So this one is called Althair, and I have not smelled it, but there are some people that have let me know what they think of it, people that have smelled it. And one of the things that I heard is that it's not the same, but it's in a similar style as fragrances like Tobacco Vanille, which if that's the case, that would be kind of interesting because they do have Herod, which is, some people would say, a little bit similar to Tobacco Vanille. But obviously, it sounds like this one is gonna be pretty heavy on the vanilla. But I haven't smelled it. This is just what I heard. So I'm neither confirming nor denying these charges. Let's read about it. This is a singular new trail brimming with contrast that is rooted in French hot perfumery and honors the woody, vanilla, amber fragrance family. An unexpected modern ode to a universal ingredient of perfumery, which the house selected in the most natural, traditional, and noble quality available. Bourbon vanilla, a direct descendant of the vanilla introduced in France under the reign of Louis XV. It can't just be regular vanilla, no sir. This is bourbon vanilla. It's decadent. This is Louis XV vanilla. The quality. Who can resist an elixir that is both warm and fresh, gourmand and light, with an unexpected rush of vanilla, citrus, spices, and noble wood? A name that hovers between earth and air, a men's scent of elegant hedonism that a woman could easily make her own, an expression of self-confidence that becomes addictive. And interestingly enough, this one was done by perfumers Hamid Moradi Kashani and Ilias Erminides. Now, you may not recognize those names, but Ilias Erminides did Jet Black Enigma, and Hamid Moradi Kashani did Terra Nova. So these are two fragrances that I creatively directed. And I've worked with both of the perfumers that did this one. So that's kind of cool. They didn't team up on these. Maybe they should have. By the way, the Gents Michael Malone fragrances, you can find these every Perfumania and every fragrance outlet store in the United States, or you can find them linked down below in the description as well. There's also Blue Ridge, but that one was done by a different perfumer. It wasn't done by these guys. You're still cool though. You're still cool. So they say once again that this has a pronounced contrast between warm ingredients and a sensation of freshness, an interplay of affinities and dissimilarities, a blend of high perfumery's traditional notes and disruptive molecules. The perfumers worked using bourbon vanilla extract, the most exclusive quality of all, in excess, pairing it with sparkling citrus, orange blossom, warm spices, cardamom and cinnamon, and notes of tobacco, praline, wood, and leather. Maybe the Tobacco Vanille thing is not too far off. But you and I both know that Parfums de Marly pretty much always does fragrances that have that niche quality, if you want to call it that, while still being extremely wearable, versatile, and typically being big compliment pullers, which is one of the reasons that their fragrances are so popular, both their warm weather and cool weather fragrances. So this one, we have a top of orange blossom, bergamot, cinnamon, and cardamom, mid of bourbon vanilla and elemi, and base of ambroxan, gaiac wood, praline, and musk, which I guess is missing some notes because then when you look at the write-up, as we just did, it mentions tobacco and leather, so we'll just toss those in there also. So looking at that note breakdown, yeah, overdose of vanilla. They make sure to say that over and over and over again, but then with a different kind of fresh, sparkling opening. Taking into account Parfums de Marly's track record of fragrances and how easily worn most of them are, looking at that note breakdown, kind of how it's described, and then, you know, the couple people that have told me, hey, it's kind of in the style of tobacco vanille. It sounds like it's gonna smell amazing, just as far as the scent profile itself. You're taking something that's already really enjoyed, you're ramping up the vanilla. From what it sounds like, you're putting praline in there, sweet on top of sweet. Give us the tobacco and the leather underneath it to help balance that out slightly and give it a sparkling opening. Yeah, that sounds awesome. So this is one that I'll try to get just ASAP. Most Parfums de Marly fragrances, I have waited a little bit until they pop up at discounters and then I scoop them up. I typically do not grab them right as soon as they come out, but this one sounds like one I will. Actually, that would make one of the first ones that I've ever just scooped immediately. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think about the potential of a very vanilla forward tobacco fragrance and where you think this will stack up as far as their whole lineup goes. And does Herod get kind of pushed down the hierarchy by this one? Let's talk about 1 Million Golden Oud next from Paco Rabanne. Yes, a new 1 Million flanker, and essentially the presentation looks like 1 Million Royal, except it has an emerald and not a ruby. It's totally different. It's not even similar at all. And this one appears to be a Middle Eastern exclusive type of fragrance. So this is gonna be one of those scents that you're gonna have to look out for at like Fragrance Buy or Joma Shop or something like that. One of those fragrances that potentially could be kind of difficult to find. Sometimes those Middle Eastern exclusives, especially if they're really sought after like the One Luminous Night, are not easy to procure if you're in the US. And this one is already for sale at Sephora, actually. Saudi Arabian Sephora. The write-up on Sephora, very simplistic, not much to it. Supremely powerful and intense. Experience Million Golden Oud. I forgot the one. A fragrance as precious as gold, enriched with the most majestic ingredient of perfumery. Its magnificent emerald jewel shines bright to echo the jewel of kings, an intense ambery expression of absolute refinement for men. And then on iFragrance, they have a few of the notes, not the full note breakdown. Well, potentially, I guess it could be, considering how things go nowadays, but they say full notes will be added soon. The notes that they have right now: oud, iris, and sandalwood. This is one that I don't even know what to think. It's a 1 Million flanker, but it's a Middle Eastern exclusive. And then of course oud is in there, which a lot of times with Middle Eastern exclusive fragrances of designer houses, they do put oud in there. And then outside of that, iris and sandalwood. It could be intriguing to have an oud fragrance if the iris is very prominent, to see how that's done, to see how that's pulled off. I would assume a little bit of a creaminess from the sandalwood. With it being a 1 million, you would also expect a certain amount of sweetness to it, a certain amount of just gusto, you know, punch right off the top. So this is one that I'm kind of split down the middle. Like, part of me really wants it and I want to see what they did with it. And then part of me feels like it's just not gonna be that amazing. But then another part of me is like, no, it could be really amazing. Like I said, I'm kind of split. I'm like two-faced right now on this one. So that's 1 Million Golden Oud. Not a whole bunch out there right now about this one. Let me know, again, what you guys think of this. Like, do you think this is gonna be one of those ones that is like the One Luminous Night, where everybody wants it because it's just amazing, and then you get frustrated that it's in such short supply? Or does this end up being one of those exclusive editions where you're just like, oh, they barely tweaked it, I don't care, it sucks? I would assume they've changed it a good amount looking at those few notes, but here we go. All right, last but not least, Mancera Intense Red Tobacco. That's right, a new red tobacco, and Mancera apparently is just making things intense. Citra Poisé, intense. Citra Poisé red tobacco, intense red tobacco. Which one gets the intense treatment next? That is the question. Intense Instant Crush, I guess. Would that be the next one probably? Yeah, I feel like that'd be one of the ones, wouldn't it? Let's read about intense red tobacco a bit here. An irresistible fragrance has been prepared, combining vanilla from Madagascar, leather, and the intense aroma of tobacco, achieving an incomparable contrast. This fragrance dazzles with scintillating spices, saffron, and agar wood, taking you to new heights in the world of perfume extracts. Concentrated, powerful, and intoxicating, this fragrance will leave an indelible mark on the space around you. It's gonna let people know you arrived. It's gonna leave a mark. I mean, red tobacco is really strong, so I'm just imagining how beast mode this one is gonna be. Intense red tobacco. In the world of fragrances, is that something that was really needed? No, but you know, I'll take it, whatever. I do wonder, like, the opening, how much more intense that could get. Because the opening of red tobacco, that's a monster. It's a bear of an opening. A lot of people just can't deal with it. It's got a lot going on. It's really strong. So I do wonder if with intense red tobacco, if they're gonna try to kind of smooth out the edges a little bit of the opening. That way it gets a little bit easier to wear into the dry down. Because the dry down of red tobacco, most people will agree, smells awesome, especially in the air. Massive compliment puller. That spice and sweetness works together so well with the tobacco that the dry down is just killer. But the opening, again, a lot of people shy away from red tobacco just because of that. So if they were able to somehow smooth that out a little bit, make it easier for people to wrap their heads around, and just for the record, I actually don't mind the opening at all nowadays, but I used to. But if they were able to smooth out that opening a little bit, make it a little easier for people, and keep that killer sweet dry down and somehow pump up the performance at the same time, yeah, they'd have just an insane fragrance here. Let's look at the note breakdown. It's pretty in-depth. Top of saffron, cinnamon, incense, nutmeg, wild oud, and white pear. A mid of patchouli leaves, tobacco, leather, vetiver, and jasmine, and a base of amber, vanilla, gaiac wood, sandalwood, and musk. And when you look at that note breakdown, it's really, really similar to the original red tobacco. And when I say really similar, I mean, it's pretty much the same. I wonder if they truly are just like, hey, red tobacco, just make it stronger. The perfumer is like, well, should we do this or that? Should we change it? And he just gets slapped across the face. No, just stronger. I don't think we should do that. Doesn't matter. So that's what's coming out. Intense red tobacco, a new Parfum to Marley, and an exclusive 1 million. Of these three, let me know which you think will be the best, which one you're looking forward to the most. So we got 2 tobacco fragrances and oud, iris, sandalwood, 1 million. Interesting. I wanna thank you guys for hanging with me here today. Stay safe out there. As always, I will see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later. I do have a cold right now. My nose is stopped up.